day job is manager of engineering and quality with a manufacturer in Kitchener. Spider-Man pen, Sharpie. That's important a little bit later on. I started running in 2003 to get in shape. I really didn't like the way I felt winded after climbing a flight of stairs, so I thought I would run to get rid of that feeling. In 2004, I ran my first 5K race, and immediately on crossing the finish line, I fell in love with the whole planning, training, execution, results sequence that really fit my right brain engineering mind. So I kept looking for a little bit longer runs, a little bit harder runs, and stretched a little bit. In 2005, I ran my first marathon. That's 42.2 kilometers. In 2007, I ran my first ultra marathon. That's a run longer than marathon distance. It typically started at 50 kilometers. In 2009, I ran my first 100-mile race. That's 162 kilometers. And ran a few 100-mile races, a few 100K races. In 2014, I ran my third 48-hour race. I ran 225 kilometers in 48 hours and finished as first place male, to my surprise. So I finally found something that I could be good at. Not running fast, but running for a long time with very little sleep. So that was the summer of 2014, and a bunch of things kind of happened all around the same time. There was a bunch of media coverage about our first responders and military veterans struggling with PTSD and high suicide rates. A buddy of mine who heard that I'd won this race said I should run across Canada for a charity. And my first thought was, well, I don't have enough vacation time. Another friend of mine registered for a 600-kilometer race. So I became aware that running 600 kilometers was a thing. Who knew? 2014, that was the summer that Robin Williams died by suicide. And I've got a little brother named Robin Williams. He's still with us, but two of my older brothers took their own lives, and my wife, my daughter, and my sister all struggle with depression. So all of those things coming together at the same time were inspiration for a thing I created called the Canal Pursuit for mental health. The Canal Pursuit is a 780-kilometer run along the Trent Severn and Rideau canals, ending on Parliament Hill. And the plan was I would run as fast as I could, run 100 kilometers a day for 7.5 days, and raise funds for an organization called the Mood Disorder Society of Canada. So and the plan was to do this in the summer of 2015. So as the planning for this progressed, I had done fundraisers each year since my first marathon. I would connect my longest or toughest run of the year with a fundraiser. But as I got into this one, it became apparent that there was more that I could do, and there was a greater need than just redirecting people's donation dollars. So I had to ask myself, what can right brain thinking, hearing impaired, arthritis suffering, back of the pack runner who used to be a smoker and couch potato do to help anyone who's struggling with depression? I'm not a therapist and I'm not a counselor, but I can talk with people and I can listen to people. And I think one of the things that talking with people can do is help them to become a little less uncomfortable around discussions of mental health. And I think that goes a long ways towards ending the stigma around mental health. So it's with that in mind that I ran the first Canal Pursuit for mental health in 2015. I ran 90 kilometers a day, a little less than planned, for 8.5 days. I don't recommend it. With the help of an amazing crew and with the hindrance of an injury that still bothers me once in a while. And I've had the opportunity to talk to a couple dozen people along the way. I ran day and night. Not a lot of people out at 3 in the morning. So the next year, 2016, I did it again. Ran 60K a day for 13 days and talked to a lot more people. Then in 2017 and 2018, and plans are coming together for 2019, it'll be done as a relay in 10-kilometer segments. So I've got a bunch more runners, or a bunch more people involved, a bunch of runners, each of them sharing with their social groups and their social media groups what they've done and why they're doing it. So increasing that number of conversations that's going on. While I was, for these past 5 years, doing this Canal Pursuit thing, I've kind of honed a couple skills. One is making running routes. So online software for mapping, making the running route, and communicating it to people so that my runners don't get lost. Don't let your runners get lost. Another thing is organizing a bunch of data, and my engineering background has definitely helped with that. Organizing a bunch of runners over a multi-day thing, over a long distance. And it's because of those two things that I was approached to be part of a thing called the Monarch Ultra. Monarch Ultra is a documentary film and relay run that follows the migration path of monarch butterflies. So I've created a running route, 4,300 kilometers long, from Peterborough, Ontario, through the United States into central Mexico, that ends in the Sierra Madre Mountains in Mexico at a butterfly sanctuary. And this coming September, I'll be part of a support crew that is on the road for 7 weeks as a series of about 100 runners, runs 50-kilometer and 100-kilometer segments from Peterborough to Mexico. Also, while a film crew documents the struggles of the ultra runners and the parallel of that to the struggle of monarch butterflies, this little bug that weighs less than a paperclip that flies 4,000 kilometers. Through this whole thing, I've learned a couple things and had them reinforced more than once. One of them is, I've completely forgotten both of them. One of them is, if you're doing something that's good and something that's right, people will want to help. If you start a project and it's the right thing and you need volunteers, they'll show up. It'll take a while maybe for people to understand. If you're doing something that's good and something that's right, people will want to help. They still need a driver, still need a champion, but people will help. The other thing is, if you go out on a limb a little bit, if you stretch a little bit, if you go outside your comfort zone a little bit, and you do it repeatedly. My 5K run, my 10K run, my half marathon, full marathon, ultra marathon. If you stretch a little bit and keep doing it, before long, you'll find yourself in a place that you hadn't imagined. So I encourage you to bite off more than you can chew. Through all of this, I'm still a strong mental health advocate, despite the butterflies. Yeah, here too. There is something I found that I can do for individual people. Can you help me hold this? Let's get it right side up. Other way. Oop. So in early 2015, I bought this Canadian flag. And in the running season leading up to the first Canal Pursuit that year, I brought it with me to all of the races that I ran. And I asked people, like I'm going to ask you, if you or someone you know struggles with depression, anxiety, bipolar, any mood disorder, please sign my flag, and I'll carry it the full distance of my run as a symbol that you don't have to carry your burdens alone. So I've had the honor of carrying this flag up onto Parliament Hill 4 years in a row, and we'll do it again this year with the hope of some military staff, I hope. Keep my fingers crossed. And I think for the 200 or 300 people who have signed this flag, that it's a symbol of hope for them, that someone wants to help. I want to help. Thank you.